What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Wrenching Wrecked. Still jamming on the GMC. I decided to take a break. It's Sunday. Day off-ish, but got the last coat of Bondo on here finally. Just waiting for this to harden up. I've been jamming on this since about 7 this morning. 3 or 4 skim coats. Every time I think it's done, sand it down, I still find another low spot. So fingers crossed, this should be the final one. We'll sand this later when I get home. But yeah, sheet metal work, not my forte apparently. So before we start doing the rockers, I'll definitely switch the welder out with the wire, put some thinner stuff in there that should help a little bit. Luckily, this door is in good shape, and then the cab corners and everything else should be a little bit easier in terms of prep. That was the worst spot, with that being kind of central in the panel. I think that mirror mount was like here-ish. I don't remember exactly where yeah, probably right around here, something like that. So I tried thinning this out and hit a low spot, or it started hardening up on me and dragged, but the only low spot I had was pretty much right here. I'm hoping that this will be fine once we feather that out. I'm really happy on the lower section, really happy on the front, and then hopefully I can get that finished sanded later tonight. I lose patience messing around, waiting on it to dry, sanding it, making a big mess, cleaning up, making a big mess, cleaning up, etc., etc. So we're up at the barn. I should probably be working on some bikes, but I'm a little bit not behind. It would help me quite a bit timing-wise if I can get these in the booth and get those blasted tomorrow, but I don't want to put those in until I finish up the last little bit of stuff in here. So I'm not going to film this one. I think I had that in one of the last couple of videos of me running the blaster. I sped it up a little bit, but I think that first piece that we did out of that pile is what I filmed on there. But I got this one and the top quarter of that one left. So I want to get those finished today, and then I don't know, trying to see if Daddy wants to come out here and go fishing or something and kind of enjoy the rest of the evening, because it's relatively mild. It's still a little warm, but not too bad. And then we'll take a look at, I gotta get the Shovelhead up on the lift soon. I keep saying that, and just been keeping busy with other stuff. So I don't remember where we left off on this ironhead, but this sissy bar does line up fine with the frame. I'm gonna have to tweak the fender a little bit, or tweak the mount on the fender. Unfortunately, if I tweak this, I gotta recoat the sissy bar. Not the biggest fan of this fender, but it's kind of what he was hoping to run. I'd like to get like a trailer style fender or something. This is a little shallow for the sissy bar. And then we got the new rockers set up. Might have to adjust the axle a little bit. We'll see what that looks like once we put this spool into the wheel. But these rockers should help with the geometry a little bit up here, and then alleviate the issue of the step down for the brake. So spool's there, kind of queued up. Still another 21. We'll recycle that tire, swap that tire over unless he wants to buy a new one. And then the brake is the next thing on the list. I gotta do wheel spacers and brakes, but I think I'm gonna try and get the front wheel set up and done. I might actually drop the front end off of this, if I can get a buddy to come by and give me a hand just holding the bike while I drop the front end out of this. I might queue up and build the spacers and tweak whatever I need to do for this new spool and do the rockers off the bike. I don't know. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna go about doing that yet, but I definitely need to pull that rear wheel and axle off again, figure out what I need to machine off on the soft tail calipers. Normally, this one's already been done, but I end up taking, I don't know, quarter, half inch or something out of the spacer bracket to make all that line up. I don't know where we're at orientation-wise with this. I really need to bring a chain over here, actually. Maybe I should bring a chain and figure out what I'm gonna do with that rear wheel, since we are running a big twin rear. But yeah, lots of things that need to get done. Still busy at the coating shop, so I figured Sunday, why not enjoy a nice Sunday of sanding Bondo all morning and then sandblasting up here to try and get myself a little bit farther ahead for this week. Oh, I sold that Springer to him for that bike relatively cheaper with the coating and being freshly rebuilt on trade. So I got this really cool, I don't know, it's probably 10, 12 over narrow glide complete with dual disc lowers. So I feel like that was a pretty good trade. But yeah, I'm gonna get to blasting, and then I don't know if there's gonna be more today on this video or if it's just kind of a mix and match, but let me get this set up because I got work to do. So I've been moving a bunch of the blasted equipment stuff. If you've been following, you know what I've been working on and why I've not been working on bikes that much, but we got the truck back in primer. This is why I've been taking a break. Just a quick protect the bare metal primer. If you notice, I scratched 2 lines in here. I need to build filler across this panel, then we'll do a tape and kind of build up this little edge. But the bottom side of the door I'm really happy with, so we're in pretty good shape on that. Just a little bit more to kind of level out that last bit. Looks like a little high spot right there too. But there's that. I've been moving the trailer back and forth with all the gym equipment. I got the last 2 pieces of that stashed in here. So these are ready to start blasting, and then honestly, them sitting down like that, it makes it a little uncomfortable for blasting, but it's easier to flip these because they're not light, and moving these by yourself sucks. So hopefully I can get these done, and then I got 2 steel wheels that are pretty rough that need to get blasted. So those 2 pieces and the wheels, that should wrap up the blasting up here, hopefully for this week. I mean, more work is fine. Picked up this air tank. That's a whole different custom project that we're gonna be doing to make the blasting side even better. All custom fab, weird stuff that know the rules to break the rules because they want somewhere between 9 and 20 grand for the air dryer setup that I'm gonna be building for that compressor, and also do it in a way that's mobile and it can stay on the tongue of the trailer. But we're not here for that. We're here for the more fun stuff. We got a swap meet coming up on Sunday at Woodstock County Fairgrounds. So another wall neck swap. It was supposed to be last month. They postponed it. So we got to get this thing going again. I mean, it should fire right up. I'm not too worried about it, but that's got to get loaded in the trailer, and I need to strap down all of the boxes because I've been digging in and out of there. So between now and Sunday, today's Monday, between now and Sunday, we got to get the trailer prepped for the swap. We'll bring the trailer and probably the dually out there. But Dottie has been a trooper today, helping me out. So this bike has been up here for longer than I'd like to admit, and I haven't even had a chance to look at it. It starts, it runs, it rides, but he's got I just moved this from over here so you can see this big old puddle of oil, and then it used to be over there, and then I parked the Softail on top of that, and then I thought the Softail was broken. That bike doesn't leak, but I just so happened to park it exactly where that Shovelhead was sitting. Then I freaked myself out. But we ripped the front end off of the ironhead chopper that we're working on, which is fine because I have the new wheel with new axle and the better rockers that we're going to be running on this over here. That makes it much easier to pull the rockers when this front end is disassembled than when it's on the bike. So front end's off of that one. Gonna stash these bearings real quick. As long as I keep them all together here, we'll be all right. So bearings, neck cup spacers, all that other stuff. I actually don't know if I'm gonna be able to run these fancy machined ones. I think it might be too much of a spacer because the stem is actually kind of a goofy thread size. So I gotta figure out what size nut I need for this. Finally went through and looked, and we have brand new 1-inch stuff. Look at how nice that chrome is. Good job, Taiwan Ted. We're still short, so I gotta figure out what size thread that one is on this stem, and then find a nut that will work for that, which means running to the parts store and trying to figure out where I can find something that will work. And then if I run these spacers, I don't have enough threads coming up out of the upper triple tree to be able to clamp down. So that's turning into a whole different nightmare. I might have to make some spacers for that. But it's a 74 Shovelhead. So we yanked the front end off of that on the lift. Dottie pulled the front end while I was balancing the bike. And then she helped me lift that frame and motor off of this lift down over there onto that really nice safe tire. But 74 Shovelhead that's leaking oil. We gotta pull the primary on this and start digging into it. And then while we're in there, since the primary is coming out, I'm fairly certain it's just the main shaft seal. We'll put a new one in. Hopefully it fixes it, but old ratchet top that hasn't been fully machined or fully fixed. So it might just be fix it for a little while until he gets more miles on it and then starts leaking again. I hope it's not the case. Maybe we'll do a super nut on that inner primary. It is a belt drive here. Hence those speed holes through the primary, or the vent holes. So we will start jamming on that, and then he is running a reverse shift pattern drum, but he's also got this lever that I think he wanted to replace while we're in there. So if all of this goes according to plan, the shift lever should be identical, but this is an actual circlip one, whereas that's been kind of cannibalized into nut and bolt setup. So quick little things. Once we get the primary open, we will be able to figure out exactly what's wrong with this really clean Super Glide. And that's where we're going to start with this. I don't know. It's a starting running bike. I don't want to go too crazy on it, but he doesn't want to spend that much money. He just wants it to leak a little bit less oil. It's pretty much the exact same as what my chopper looks like in the garage at home, and probably my Super Glide's leaking oil up front a little bit more. So that's where we're at. I finally got this up on the lift so we can start jamming away, but we got a little bit more blasting to do and things to get ready, and then we're doing a nice small little friends and family soiree up here. So Walnex this weekend, mini camp out next weekend. Keep them busy and trying to clean up while managing all of the other work. It's been a lot, lots of things happening. Not all of them make it on camera, especially the bodywork on the stupid truck. That takes up all of my time now. So I did have a bunch of comments on this thing. This is unfortunately the way back burner project. I want to start on it. I want to keep jamming on this. Ideally, I'd like to get another lift table in here. I'm looking. If I can find another cheap one, we will go that route. But I'm not paying retail. I'm not buying a new one because they are a dime a dozen. And the amount of them that I can find relatively cheap on the used market. It's just a matter of finding them close enough and how badly do I want that. But this needs to wait until that one's done, until that one's done. Customer bikes pay me money. This will cost me a lot of money. And this will be a pretty intensive build just because there's so much messed up with it. I need to cut the frame in half. I need to stretch it, probably 2-inch top, 2-inch down at the lower legs. I need to continue tweaking the lower motor mount sections to get that to all line up. I have the motor on my bench at home. It's all coated, it's all ready to reassemble. I need the crank side, or the crank bearing to get pressed back on. But the cases are ready, the motor mount, lower motor mount is ready. It's all coated, ready to go, cleaned up. Cylinders are coated and machined, brand new pistons, brand new rings, and the heads are coated and prepped. I just gotta cut the valves and take care of the engine work, which that's what I'm gonna try and start doing come winter. But that one, the motor for this bike will get done way before this bike actually even gets looked at. In the interim, we have the Strosic motor up there still, and a 71 motor for mock-up. If anybody's looking to buy a motor, that 71, I have not kicked it over. I have not looked at anything on the internals, but I am looking to get rid of that one pretty soon. That might come to the swap meet with me next week.
What is this?
That's the cap for the compressor, the diesel exhaust. I gotta put that on top of the diesel compressor, so.
I can't throw it away.
No. It shouldn't be in here, it should be on the compressor, but if I forget to take it off of there, it walks over and melts.
Why can't you just use like the thing over there?
I need a new flapper.
Oh.
Anyways, that motor might be coming back, or coming to the swap with me. We'll have the Strosic one, and then this one. Ideally, I just want to get that one back in, but I'm hesitant to start cutting and grinding on this without having a complete motor, which is where I'm torn. I could use some extra cash by selling that motor, but I also like having a quick and easy, readily well, maybe I'll just slap the cases together. That's not a bad idea. Maybe I'll slap the cases and the cylinders and the heads on without the crank and the trans. That should be relatively manageable. I know it's cast iron heads and cylinders and Won't be the lightest thing in the world, but it's way lighter than a full complete ironhead with clutch and primary and trans and all the other stuff. So I just need a mock-up motor, but it's gonna be really nice and pretty, and I don't like taking nice parts in and out, in and out, in and out. So we'll figure something out for that, but the motor on that will come before I get around to doing any of the framework on this, just while we're waiting on fabbing some of these up. Thought we would fire up the mini bike. I broke that too. We left this outside too long, leaned over that way, had a big upsweep pipe that comes up here, took in water. Pretty sure water ran down behind the back of the valve, and now this motor is completely locked up. But it does have all the go fast clutch parts that should still be good. Any mini bike guys? That's for sale too, anybody local. So that's gonna wrap this one up for now because I'm rambling. I'm gonna keep cleaning, sprucing it up a little bit over here, and that's all garbage. I'm using that to keep count with the new blasting rig and everything else. I gotta figure out a way to measure material used and cost. So after a job, if I count up the total number of bags, I know pretty much how much that cost me in media, minus diesel. But that's it for now. We'll catch you guys on the next one.